Hey, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, my name's Anita Cooper. I am a fiction writer. I only have 6 short stories out there, but I'm working on more. During the day I work as a copywriter or content writer, but whenever I get the chance, I sit down and work on short stories and novels. So I'm a noob when it comes to this fiction writing, but I thought I'd start this channel to share what I'm learning along the way. I am what they call a fly by the seat of your pantser. I don't like to create an outline, a detailed outline of the story before I write. I'd like to learn and explore a story, just like the reading experience. When I pick up a book, you know how it is if you love to read. You pick up a book and you read and you learn about the character and the setting that it's in, and you follow along with what happens to them. I like doing that. I love to read. And so when I'm writing, it's kind of like that same experience. I'm exploring. So that's another terminology, exploratory writer. But anyway, today I'd like to talk about setting yourself up for a good writing session. Now this can apply to whether you write by the seat of your pants like me, or you're an outliner, which God bless you. I don't know how you do it. I get bored too easy. But that's me. Each of us, that's the first point I want to make, is each of us are different. Each of us have a certain way that we view the world and a certain way that we interact with it. And we're all unique individuals, in other words, obviously. So what you like to do with your writing, if you don't know, is to just explore. Explore what works for you. If you've had somebody say you have to do it a certain way, ignore them. It may work right for them, but that doesn't mean it's going to work right for you. The whole idea is to learn what works for you. And all I can do is share what works for me. And what works for one story may not necessarily work for every story. It just depends on the writer. Some people I'm thinking there may be some point where I would like to do a rough outline. I'm still learning. I'm still, like I said earlier, I'm exploring the ideas that people have about how to get your story from here onto the paper. So, anyway, the topic, like I said, is I wanted to talk about setting yourself up for a good writing session. I need to have these notes because I will tend to ramble. The more you watch me, the more you'll learn that, yeah, I'm a squirrel. I scatter from here and there, collecting little bits of nuts, and then eventually, yeah, I've got them in a cache, and that's where I hoard them. I don't know about that analogy, but anyway, bottom line is I'm easily distracted, so. Okay, yeah, my battery died. Sorry about that. Okay, anyway, like I was saying, the way I found to set up myself for success has just been through a trial and error. And like I was saying, what works for one book or one story may not work for everyone. Everybody's different. You've got prolific writers like Stephen King, for example, who I've heard is a discovery writer, aka a pantser. But then you have others, which I can't think of any at the moment because I don't really know for sure. But a lot of people, they swear by writing using an outline. And there's different levels of outlining, you have some very detailed where you do character sketches, and all of that kind of stuff. And I think what a lot of that does is it helps you to prepare yourself for the writing and to help you relax. So, yeah, more power to you if you are an outliner. Actually, I kind of envy that because sometimes it gets overwhelming thinking about What's going to be next, you know. And I've read advice where it talks about just write the next sentence, which that works sometimes, a lot of times, and sometimes what I have to do is I just have to pause what I'm doing, go find something else to do for a little bit, and then come back to it. But you don't want to let too much time go between your writing sessions, because if you do, it's a lot harder to get back into where you left off. How do I know this? Yeah, trust me, I know this. It's not easy getting into a writing habit, especially if you have a day job. And ironically, I do have a day job, so to speak, in that I'm, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a copywriter. I work from home, so you would think I'd have all the time in the world, but I also have a family I have to take care of, and all the things that go with that. So anyway, if you want to set yourself up for success in writing fiction or anything, the idea is just to try different things that people recommend. Like, for example, I like music to listen to while I'm writing. Sometimes. But sometimes, depending on where I'm at in the story, I have to have ambient noise. Like, pink noise is one I've just recently discovered, which is kind of neat. I don't know what it is they've taken the white noise and they've kind of equalized it, I think is the way it works. So it's not too hard. It's not as harsh maybe as some white noise can be. But sometimes I like just the plain old white noise, or the sound of the ocean or rain or whatever. But anything that works to get my mind settled into the story and to keep the distracting other thoughts that'll pop in. Or the editor. I have a particularly mean, and she's not vicious, but she's ornery editor, i.e. internal editor. Not somebody out. I could just fire somebody, you know. But no, my own internal editor, critic, whatever you want to call her, she can be pretty mean sometimes, running the writing, and she thinks she's doing her job. She thinks she's protecting me from some, I don't know, literary snob maybe that's going to come put a bullet in my brain. I don't know. But my internal editor, she can interfere when I'm trying to write, and that's no fun and it's no good, because she just, yeah. Only writers maybe anthropomorphize, is that the right word? Their minds, but hey, that's what I do. So, and anyway, getting back to the music or the white noise, that works for me nearly all the time. And it'll help me focus on what I gotta do. And another thing I do is visual distractions. I like to write with a black background on the screen and green, not white, letters. So as little distraction as possible, visually or in my ears. Not to mention people coming in. That's another thing. If you can, shut the door, put a note on the door, say, I'm writing, leave me alone, whatever, and dedicate time to writing. And you can train yourself, okay, if I just sit down and write for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you think you can, don't let yourself get distracted. Make sure you've got your phone notifications on silent, vibrate. As a matter of fact, keep your phone away from you so you're not tempted to pick it up when you get stuck. And study what it is that works for you. When you've had a particularly good session, think about what was different. Was it a different time of the day? For me, my best writing when it's kind of sketchy, because I have to get client work done, And I've tried getting up early in the morning to do my fiction writing, but my mind is reminding me of so many things that I have to do for my clients that it's hard for me really to focus on the fiction. So usually what happens is after I'm done with client work for the day, I will work on the fiction. But I need to find a better, I'm still working on this, a better time to just call it quits from the client work, even though there's more I probably could do, but just cut it quick and spend an hour or so writing in the afternoon, late afternoon, before the evening comes, because then I like to spend time with my family, watching movies or whatever. So, and I'm not a night owl. I was when I was a teenager, but I'm not now. So, yeah, it's always an ongoing process. So bottom line, the best thing that you can do to set yourself up for success is to know yourself. Know what distracts you. Know what you let distract you. You know, in other words, how you distract yourself. And then do everything you can to mitigate it. And then just practice. Keep practicing your writing. I've read where longtime writers, they say that it's different with every book. And they actually go through dry spells, some of them. But if you just stay committed to it and keep doing it over time, it'll get easier. And you'll get into the habit of producing words every time you sit down. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I can say is just, you know, keep practicing. Find out what works for you. Find out what works for you. Even if it's something like Kevin J. Anderson, which I wish I could do this. Well, he likes to hike. And so what he will do is he will take his voice recorder and he'll go on hikes and he will actually speak the book into his recorder. Now, it took him time, he said, to do that, but that's actually pretty cool. You're staying healthy by exercising and seeing the beautiful, being inspired by your beautiful surroundings and getting the book down on the paper. I mean, yeah, getting the book down so it can be transcribed later on. So that's actually pretty cool. And I've tried it, I think, once. I could try it more. Maybe I will one of these days. I don't know. He has had people look at him really funny. He's come across people on the trail and they look at him like, what's your problem? You're talking to yourself. But hey, that's just, if that's the worst that happens, you know, who cares, right? People think you're nuts. You'll be able to say, hey, I'm a writer, right? Right. So, tell me what you've learned, what's helped you, if you're a writer. And share what you'd like me to talk about. If there's anything that you're interested in knowing, anything you'd like to share about your journey in fiction writing, I'd love to get a discussion going. So leave a comment down below. Hit subscribe if you want to get notified of more videos that I upload. Hit that little bell. And until next time, don't let yourself make excuses. Just sit down, open up your laptop or grab your notebook if you write by hand and write. The world needs your story. Until later.